Welcome to today's concert, a very special concert of songs here at the library. And we thought that since, yes everybody, we thought that since today is Preposition Awareness Day, yes, Preposition Awareness Day all over the world over, that we would celebrate the songs composed by the one composer who devoted his life to them. And not just to two, but to all of the rest of them. I know you had expected soprano Geraldina Fattagiani from the Met, but her playing is behind. So, I'm very happy to tell you that I will be filling in for her because of my in with him. And she begins something like this. She did something like this. She did something. Like is very popular these days. Like lot. like wow. You know, I did know him. Yes, I knew him. And knew that as a young man, he was especially taken with. Wanted nothing more than to be with. And to become a with. And to live as a with. Not knowing how yet at that time of his life, but yearning nonetheless for with. Well, he came to see that with and all the rest of them were invisible. And not just to him, but to everybody, to you, right? They fly right by. And he wanted to put things straight, set things right, and to recognize the preposition for what it does. And he did, with these songs of the preposition. Oh, I do love of. He loved with. I love of. Yeah, no, I'll get to it. Anyway, do you know he said that without our prepositions, there'd be no next to, the person you're next to. There'd be no, you couldn't talk to anyone about anything. Because nothing could happen during the day anyway. Oh, what a concept. Gets me every time, during. Yes, he said without these we'd just be alone. Without. Adrift, alone. Without even. Right. Anyway, he begins with this, we'll begin with his first song. Let's see, I think it's called, this is his earliest work, it's called Over the Under Behind. Over and under, next to, behind, on top of, over, toward. Over, under, behind, next to, on top of, over, toward. Thank you very much. I know you're waiting for the soprano, but the playing is behind. But he was so into it. He even had tattoos of them. He had a 2 right here with a within, and a below here above the behind, and another below above the behind. That's right, 2 belows, below, and an over around here that went down and met a 2 here that went all the way down and joined up with the with there, as I remember. And under, of course, the 2 with. That's right, is that right? You know, all that yearning of his did change, finally, when he went to a conference of the Modern Language Association of America, where he met a former grammarian, me, from wherever, and they're connected with me, especially after he read through my dissertation titled Adverbs Are Rarely, inspiring this next song about rarely. Let's see if I can remember it. It was long about sunset. You were just going about being a grammarian when about a dozen roses showed up in a roundabout way. Roses, truly, rarely, roses make no bones about it, about this many too. And right then and there, he did an about face, about me, about us, about him, and he came about. And it was about this time of year. Thank you. It's better with the soprano, but that's what we got here. Anyway, we were so into it. He was really, I think with that, no, he was, what happened then? Oh, yeah, it was about that time of year, and one thing led to another. So into each other we were that we moved in with, in which, out of which, from which came this next song, Inside My Body Breathing. You caught my breath, took my breath away. But then I started breathing again, and onto your feet you sprang, blowing your breath along my spine, over my head, down my back, and in the same breath, out of your mouth, you blew into my mind, through my heart, and under my skin. Thank you very much. I think with that he'd finally become the with he longed to become. He even had with parties. Do you remember the with parties? With parties? Do you remember the with? I'll get this next one. It's called, what is it called? It's called Into, on Top of. This is my preposition basis. He invented these. Anyway, the song is called, the song poem is called Into, on Top of. In bed, on the couch, on the rug, so into each other we were, up and over and around, we were beside, above, beneath, below, in the plane, in the car, on the kitchen counter, onto the kitchen floor, out of one room into another, through the den, ending in the library, of course. Thank you. You know, he became known as a great connector, instituting over-under festivals, teaching all kinds of workshops. My favorite is Up Yours is Stick It To You, but that was eventually canceled. But it's beneath me, I'm above it. Is a favorite among some. This next song is from his minimalist period, but over time. Falling over, talking all over, falling all over, crying and talking it over, over and over and over and over, A rough period followed. We each were very busy with. He went out with, I went out with, and much came between us. And then one night, overwrought. Over the long hall, overnight, one of us was just so over it, and over spilled milk too. We were so over it, over time, overwrought, over everything. Everyone was just so over the top, over and done with it, over and over, over and over, over and over again, over and over again, over and over, overwrought. And we were finally over it, and one of us said, "You do that once more over my dead body." And one of us did. And with that, our with is over with. But several years went by, and realizing the error of his ways, both grammatical and otherwise, he wrote this next song, an apology to me. It's called Afterthought, After All. very soon after that, we bumped into each other. And before we knew it, we were back together, and together we turned to with, continued to with for several more years. It was beyond the be over, falling arm in arm around the room on our prepositions, falling all over again forward, together, together with, together, together with, together, together with, together, together with. And then one day, he appeared under the weather. Soon was only hanging on to on. And then when day's end was up for over, and he left us, his ashes up for over for up. It seemed so sudden it seemed. I woke up to without over, under, next to, behind, no between, no of for of, toward, into, onto, no together, out of breath, out of our senses, out of this world, no during the day, no during it all, no during the night, no, none of that. No next to, no none of that, but only with, over with, and finally without. But he wrote one last song called, which was published after, called But I Understand. And even under these circumstances, our of did get under my skin. Under these circumstances, under my skin. And the of under wire, under spell, out of the blue, and is under wraps, it's sort of under the counter and sort of underway, but sort of under our nose all along. And finally under fire, I can now say, under my breath, I understand, I understand, I understand, I do. And that's the end. And go into prepositions.